All right, guys, so this morning we are going to get some miles in one of the most highly requested plated training shoes that I have not tried, the Saucony Kinvara Pro. Shout out to my guy, Jonathan Sanders. He's been requesting this for months. Also, shout out to Bob Bruno, because I know that he loves this shoe. But theoretically, I should also love the shoe because it combines elements from two of my favorite shoes from 2022 and 2023. You'll see how I artfully did this little display here. Saucony Endorphin Shift 3. This is a little bit of a firmer, taller stack shoe. I love this thing for daily miles. I put 350 miles on this bad boy. Then over here we have the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. It's got the bouncy Power Run PB. It's got the plate. It's a little bit of a lighter shoe. I liked it for some long runs. I liked it for some faster stuff, for some fun daily miles as well. And I put about 600 miles across two pairs of this. So the Kinvara Pro takes these two shoes, smashes them together, switches out the plastic for carbon, and we'll see how it goes. I've been a little bit disappointed with Saucony this year, but maybe the Kinvara Pro is the one that will finally hit. So let's get into it, baby. So in this plated training segment, there are really two styles of shoes. You have more of the speed training shoes, like the Saucony Endorphin Speed series with the Speed 3 and Speed 4. And then you have the long run, long mileage cruisers, which are designed more for comfort. And man, these mosquitoes are getting me, but designed more for comfort, protecting the legs. And so there actually is, I don't know if you could tell that this box was, censored. But I don't know if you could tell that this box is a little bit bigger, but I have another pair of shoes in here that's a spiritual counterpart to the Kinvara Pro from another brand, which will be popping out at some point this week. But boom, Kinvara Pro. Let's open it up here. All right, it's open. I accidentally turned the camera off, so you missed my reaction, but bang! All I said that you missed while I was talking to the camera with it off, it's just one of those kinds of mornings, is that there are a lot of questionable design decisions on this shoe. And the first one is, look at this. They did this gradient, a beautiful gradient, red to yellow to white, but they put the white on the front, which is the part that's going to get dirtiest. Second questionable design decision is that there is no rubber on the bottom of the shoe. I don't think this is a particularly lightweight shoe. And in this category, it's not really about having lightweight, which Hoka has demonstrated in the Skyward X. And my gosh, we got an action shot, guys. Can you see that? Look at that. Slug out here putting in that work. Anyway, as I was saying, in this category of shoes, it's not quite so much about lightweight and speed as it is about feeling the bounce, feeling the comfort. I think with these shoes, you got to put the rubber on for durability, man. It makes no sense why they would not do that. And I know this foam on the bottom is likely a rubberized EVA, so it should be a little bit more durable than just something like a PIBA foam, a race foam, just completely exposed. But still, I'm not the biggest fan of these shoes without rubber. Also, we'll have to see. I mean, you guys know how much it rains out here in my neck of the woods in the burbs of Carolina, burbs of Charlotte. It's not going to rain today, but we'll have to see how this thing does in the rain. And then the other thing that I said that when I was just talking to the camera is that there are some colorways that are beautiful. There are some that are ugly. And this one is beautifully ugly. This is so bad. That is good. This is like the McDonald's 3. This is my McDonald's colorway. You have the yellow Ronald McDonald yellow, the red Ronald McDonald red. It all comes together in this awesome ketchup and mustard colorway. I'm really glad that this is the colorway I went with. It is a sight to behold. And I'm hungry for some hot dogs now. Man, look at this thing. It's like some ballpark Franks. So aside from this fantastically garish colorway here, the key to the shoe is the midsole. So as I was saying, it combines two of these shoes that I really loved. So on the bottom layer of the Kinvara Pro here, you can see there's a firmer foam. This is the Power Run. Saucony calls it Power Run. It's this standard training foam, an EVA, ethylene vinyl acetate. And that's exactly what we get in the Shift 3, massive stack of it. It also looks like just the shape of the bottom of the shoe is really similar to the Shift 3. And the Kinvara Pro, in a sense, is the replacement in the Saucony line for the Shift. It's interesting because this is a shoe that you either loved it or you hated it. A lot of bigger runners liked it. I really loved this shoe. It's just easy to run in. There's no weirdness going on with it. The foam wasn't the most exciting, but the curve on the bottom of the shoe just made you roll and roll and roll along. I've found personally Nova Blast 4 has been a solid replacement for me. Something like the Brooks Goes Max is also an okay replacement, but that doesn't have as much natural pep and roll along as this shoe. So Saucony has a few different shoes that could potentially do the job of the Shift 3 in the lineup. So the Kinvara Pro is one of them. Use that same firmer foam. And then on the top layer, though, you have the Power Run PB from the Endorphin series. So this colored foam on the top is a different foam. You can see it's going to be a little bit softer. That's sitting near the foot. Hopefully that gives us a little bit more step-in feel and a little bit more bounce as we're cruising along. Also, I should mention the other two shoes in the Saucony lineup that could potentially replace the Shift 3. That would be the Guide, which I'm planning to test at some point this summer. Stay tuned for that. And then the Hurricane as well when that comes out. So that's almost similar to the Kinvara Pro in that it uses two different types of foam, but that one's going to be even heavier than the Kinvara Pro, even more of a slow cruiser than the Kinvara Pro. Then the Guide is more of their traditional stability shoe, but they've pivoted it to be a little bit more of a mild stability shoe in the same vein as the Shift. But one of the things that made the Shift great was the lower drop, only 4 millimeters difference in stack height between the front and the back, which gave you this really cushioned feeling up in the front here. The Kinvara Pro is an 8 millimeter drop between the front and the back. I actually don't know the stack off the top of my head. I'll look it up, but I think it's probably about 40 in the back and 32 in the front. And now if we're going to compare the stack height of this shoe to some of the others in the category, Hoka Skyward X, that would go up against this. Asics Super Blast, that would go up against this. And I'm not going to pull all those out right now. I might do that a little bit later. I want to get some miles in. But this is going to be on the lower end of the spectrum, if you could even imagine it. Look at this. This does not look low. This does not look short. But the market has moved a lot since Saucony dropped this shoe. Not even too long ago. It was only about a year ago or so at this point. But stack heights are getting higher. I mean, Super Blast came out before this, I believe. But stack heights are getting higher. Weights aren't necessarily going down, which is the thing. You can add a little bit of rubber for weight, but these rides of these shoes are getting really exciting. So I'm curious to see how this stacks up against not just the Shift 3 and the Speed 3, how it combines the two elements of those, but how it compares to, of course, Skyward X and then the Super Blast, which I was not a fan of. And now if we head up to the upper here, pretty standard situation going on, but I do like to see that we get a decently lightweight upper. And so the Kinvara Pro, is the name here is coming from the Saucony Kinvara, which is Saucony's lightweight everyday running shoe / speed training shoe. It's one of the last shoes, the standard Kinvara, that uses still this Power Run foam, that uses a traditional EVA, and not a fancy foam. It uses an old school foam in a lightweight workout shoe. So I haven't tested the Kinvara yet. I actually might pick up a pair of that to test this summer as well. But the Kinvara Pro is nothing like the initial Kinvara. And it's interesting because I listened to this interview with Saucony when the shoe came out. And the Kinvara has always been known as this lightweight, low stack, minimal, barefoot mafia style shoe. Kinvara Pro is this beefy, chunky, max cushion gang take on it. But what they said was that the Kinvara platform is supposed to be bringing niche technology to the masses. So in the same way that the Kinvara brought that barefoot mafia-esque tech to some people who weren't necessarily going to be running in those barefoot minimal actual barefoot shoes of the 2010s, the Kinvara Pro is bringing race day technology like the carbon fiber plate, like the bouncy foam to the masses. So this is a shoe designed for, boom, hobby joggers. This is a shoe that's designed for us. It's designed for people who are not professional runners, who are not putting up 5-minute marathon pace and 4:30 pace during intervals. This is designed for us to have a little bit more comfort, to have a little bit more weight, of course, but also stability and some of these elements that make it easier to run while not going completely aggressive. So yes, you still have that rolling feel, you still have that race day foam, but then you get that solid, stable foam on the bottom. You get a little bit of a wider base, and then even the carbon fiber plate in here You can see through the bottom. Is it really a carbon plated shoe if it doesn't have the window? I don't know, bro. But even this carbon fiber plate, it doesn't extend all the way up into the forefoot. It stops 3/4 of the way up, which is supposed to give it a little less harsh and aggressive ride. So I am not going to be comparing the shoe to something like the Boston 12. I'm not even really going to be comparing it to the Speed 3. It's not supposed to be a replacement for the Speed 3. It's supposed to be a counterpart to the Speed 3 or an alternative to something like the Speed 3. I will, though, be comparing it to the Saucony Endorphin Speed or Pro 4, because I found the Pro 4 this year to be one of the best plated shoes, one of the best shoes with those elements of speed assistance that also feels great at a variety of paces, and that I feel confident and comfortable recommending to 4-hour marathon runners and runners who aren't going to be finishing with 6 flat paces. So this is another shoe that's designed for a 4-hour marathoner, that's designed to be comfortable for those longer sessions where we're spending a few hours on foot. So this morning, I'm excited to lace it up, get some time on feet. Now we can potentially, we'll see how it goes, potentially double back later this afternoon, put some more miles on it to see how it holds up with a full day of running. But we'll see. Stay tuned. So with that, guys, let's pop this on the scale. I want to see where the weight comes in. All right, guys, so I brought out the scale here, and I also brought out a few shoes that compete with the Kinvara Pro. So let's look at this. 308.5 grams. That's a little bit on the heavier side. Let's see how that compares to the Shift 3 before I put any of these other ones on. So Shift 3, that's coming in at 283 grams. So that's a little bit interesting and puzzling to me, because theoretically, and this is where Saucony is starting to lose me a little bit with some of their product decisions. Theoretically, this is a standard training foam. It should be heavier than the race foam in the Kinvara Pro. And the stack height is also not that much taller or taller at all in the Kinvara Pro. And the drop is higher, which means you get less foam or a similar amount of foam in the forefoot. So if we're switching out some of the heavier foam for a lighter, bouncier foam, why is the weight going up? Also, the upper is it all in the up? I'm not sure. And you guys know, I don't think weight is everything, especially in a shoe like this that's designed for comfort and not speed. But some of these decisions that Saucony is making when it comes to their products and how they're changing them, they don't make any sense to me. So heavier, more expensive than the Shift 3, heavier with purportedly a lighter foam. They did the same. Oh gosh, the slug is coming for our Skyward X. Hold on, this is almost crisis mode right here. All right, let's just pop this Skyward X on. So this is the heaviest shoe, second heaviest shoe I own, actually. The Skechers Max Road is the heaviest. This comes in at 330. The thing is with this guy, you're getting nearly 50 millimeters of foam. So you're getting a lot of foam, a lot more cushion, and the ride is so bouncy. It's such a nice ride. It's like you're not even running. It's like jogging on the elliptical. I don't know if you jog on the elliptical, but it's like prancing around on the elliptical in the gym. So I will be using the Skyward X as a point of comparison for the Kinvara Pro, because that's currently in the top spot for this category of shoes. And then another one I wanted to bring out here, I've been highlighting this in almost every video this week. I think this has made an appearance in 4 or 5 straight videos, but this is the Asics Nova Blast 4, and man, look at that. It's going in the hole. This is absolutely repulsive, man. I'm sorry. That is gross. The Asics Nova Blast 4, I just think the value of this shoe is great. This is my top pick right now for beginners for marathon training, or for your first marathon training shoe. It has a lot of cushion. It's comfortable. It does take some miles to break in, but once it does, and once you get used to running it, it's a really nice experience. It is a little bit on the firmer side, but that's the trade-off with a marathon training shoe that's going to be versatile. I would go for a little bit of a firmer one so it doesn't feel mushy at the end of those long runs. And like I said, it will break in and conform to your foot and soften up a little bit. And so this is $140. Nice lightweight. It was coming in at 283 grams versus the Kinvara Pro. MSRP of this guy is $180. So in between the $220 Skyward X and the $140 Asics Nova Blast. But right now, this is on sale at Running Warehouse for $135. I actually bought this with my own money from Running Warehouse full price before the sale went up, which is kind of annoying. So if it's any good, this might be a really good buy for some people. I'll let you know by the end of this video whether or not you want to pick it up for $135, because that is, for the technology you're getting in here, that's a great deal for the plate and for the foam here. And I'm really curious. Let's just commit. We're going to do the 20-mile double in this. I'm really curious how it's going to stand up through 20 miles of running today, because some of these shoes with lower stacks at $140, something like the New Balance Rebel V4 or Hoka Mach 6, those are fun for 6 to 8 miles in the morning, but I do not like to run in them 2 or 3 times in the span of 1 or 2 days. Something like this, I'm hoping stands up really well to some higher mileage. So with that, hold on. Let's just pop on. I was going to say let's get on foot. Let's pop on the Speed 3 just to see. So you can see, for comparison, the Speed 3 is 237 grams, so significantly lighter than the Kinvara Pro. The difference between these shoes is, of course, the Speed is designed for speed training. That's why it has the plate. That's why it has the lightweight construction, bouncy, snappy feel. I don't think we're going to get much snap out of this. That's just my expectation from how heavy it is, and I'm guessing it's going to be a decently stiff and rigid ride. Let's take a look at this actually. I stopped doing the bend test in every video. But, all right, one bend. Everybody knows the rules. Yeah, no bending whatsoever. Speed 3, a lot more flexible. So that's where the snap comes from. When you get a little bit of that flexibility, you're going to be snapping off the forefoot here. The Shift 3 also does not have much bend. There's no snap in it. It's more that roll. So Kinvara Pro should have similar roll through. So let's lace up these bad boys. I'm excited. Slug watch. Hold on, QA check. 302.5, so that's within the margin of error. Alright guys, lacing up the Kinvara Pros here, and we are now turning the corner into the warmest part of the calendar here in the Carolinas. So I always talk about trade-offs, right? The trade-off of running in this brutal summer heat, well, first is it's probably not going to be pouring rain on us all the time. But second is that the days are so long right now. I absolutely love it. Last night and the night before, it was light until nearly, I don't know, 9:05 a.m. By the way, I'm deep in the sock drawer right now, so the white socks, these are not Supwell certified. White running socks, no, not Supwell certified. I don't even know how these came into my sock drawer. There are features, they are features though. But yeah, black socks only. Black socks with the no flop knot, that is the only Supwell certified way to lace up and run. But okay, fit here, a little bit of that classic Saucony narrowness. Again, something that I do not love from them, and feels like it fits a little bit snugger in general. You can see, yeah, my foot, it looks like a sack of potatoes up here, and then lengthwise, it's not that long compared to the other Saucony shoes. So that is the one good thing that they did with the new Triumph, the Oomph 22. They widened it out, and I think they just made it a little bit roomier. So the length is, I don't know if it's short for a 10.5, but it's not super roomy, and then the height, the volume here isn't roomy either. So yeah, overall a little bit of a snugger fit here, but man, this feels solid, bro. I feel like I'm stomping to my Air Force Ones, man. Yeah. Woo. I could go dig a ditch in these or something. I feel like I got a pair of work boots on. Man. So yeah, I think everything that has been said about this shoe having a little bit of a firmer ride, I think is probably going to come out to be true. I think there's also a Power Run Plus sock liner in here, so an insole that's a little bit softer. But I am not feeling a soft and squishy step-in feel. What I am feeling, though, is look at this. Woo! I'm about to roll right down the stairs. I am feeling that roll, so this might be more like that Shift 3, a lot closer to that than the Speed 3 is going to be my guess, where it's more about that smooth roll than it is about a speedy pop or any of that. that soft gliding along feel. So we'll see how it goes. And as I said, some bigger runners have told me they like this shoe. So that has probably to do with the firmer foam. But let's see. Hot dog, ketchup, and mustard. I think I was joking about this looked like ketchup and mustard while the camera was off as well. But it really does. This is the Ronald McDonald colorway. All right, let's do a little walk test. All right, quick walk test in the Saucony Kinvara Pro. Definitely snugger. This fits my foot. It fits my foot really well, but the issue that I have with these Saucony shoes is they are narrow. No other brand punishes the outside of my left foot like this, and I've never gotten my feet measured to see if I need a wide width, but there's no other brand. I've tried almost every running brand. I think Ultra. I haven't tried Ultra. I haven't tried Under Armour. Haven't tried Reebok, but I've tried all the standard mainstream brands, and none of them pinch my foot like this. And I actually have these weird corns or calluses or whatever from running so much in Saucony in 2022. And anytime that I lace up any of this older gen, and I would put the Kinvara Pro in the older gen of Saucony shoes with the Shift 3 and the Speed 3, it's more in that territory than Speed 4 and Triumph 22, just based on the product development cycle, which you can see from the design aesthetic here on the upper and everything. But anytime I lace up one of these shoes, it triggers that rubbing over here, and I can feel it right now burning. So we're going to get some burning over on the left side. Definitely a narrower fit. I don't believe they make these. I'm not sure if they make these in wide. I will confirm up here whether or not they make these in wide. But for $135, we'll see. We'll see how these go. Step in feel is okay. Not an uncomfortable shoe, but it is characterized by more of that firm, smooth roll. Even just walking here, that's what I'm feeling. Firmness, smoothness, very stable. It's going with that design trend. This is probably one of the first shoes in the plated trainer segment to really engineer in a ton of stability and width. It is tall. Definitely feels taller than some of the other shoes we've been testing. Not as tall as the Skyward X, but I think we just have to get some miles in and see how it goes. So plan for this morning is another 12-mile run around the hood here, and we'll pop out with another 8 miles this afternoon probably, but 12 miles this morning. Nice and smooth aerobic pace. Yesterday I did a 20-mile double. On Sunday I ran a marathon, 26 miles in an old pair of Nikes. So today we're doing another 20-mile double. Let's go for it. Let's see how it goes. Saucony Kinvara Pro, baby, first run. All right, guys, we finished. Let's see. 12.03. Weird miles. Weird, esoteric, odd, strange, unusual, unconventional, unorthodox, paradoxical, baloney, malarkey miles. And this is some noon that I impulse bought from the store because we did errands. Not only were they weird malarkey baloney miles, but we did some errands, which was good. So really just mind-boggling, that doesn't make any sense, astronomical, but weird experience in these Saucony Kinvara Pro. Boy, was this a quirky old shoe. This fella down here, that's got some quirks and features to it. Let's pop these off because, man, that was an odd run. Man, this has got to be one of the most confusing, strange, paradoxical shoes I've ever run in. I'm not going to go through the whole list of synonyms right now, but really weird ride. And, man, firm, other than it being odd and strange, one of the firmest, most rigid, not flexible shoes I have ever run in. This thing is, look how rigid it is. There's no give to it whatsoever. You got that little nice soft pop up here, but the rest of the platform here is very rigid. And also, take a look at this. Because I had to go out of the neighborhood to go to Walgreens to pick up the SD card in the noon, we got some more damage. People always ask me how I keep my shoes so clean, because I only run in the beautiful burbs out here, but whenever we go out of the neighborhood, we get a little bit of damage. So let's see. Yeah, we did 12 miles at a, can you see that, 7:08 pace. I decided to throw some pace change in there. So I did 2 miles of warm up, and because the shoe was so stiff and felt so odd at my everyday aerobic pace, which is, I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to be firm, yes, but a little bit more forgiving from this top layer. But because it felt just so stiff, I decided to throw some pace pickup in there. So on the 3rd mile, I dropped it to about a 6:20, and I alternated back and forth anywhere from 6:20 to 6:50 on these pushing miles, and then 1 mile just smooth at a 7:20. And the shoe felt a lot better at that faster mile, on those faster miles, at that 6:20, 6:30, 6:40 pace for me, which I was not expecting. Now, I know it does have those elements of speed assistance, like the Power Run PB foam and the carbon fiber plate, but everything about the shoe's design, the weight, the stability, made me think it was going to be more of that smooth cruiser, and it did not feel like a cruiser. It did not feel like a shoe that I wanted to be running 8-minute miles in, or even 7:50 miles in. I don't think I was even down at 8 minutes today, because anytime I went slower than about a 7:10, 7:20, it just was not working for me. It's similar kind of thing to the Super Blast, where I have to be putting some power down into the shoe to get anything out of it. And I think this is probably even firmer, definitely firmer feeling than the Super Blast. And yeah, it's a type of foam that I cannot compress at all unless I am really mashing down on the gas. But 12 more miles in the books. I'm just really curious to see how this does on that second run of the day, because that's going to be telling. Will this soften up? Because if this can soften up, if this can get a little bit more of a forgiving ride, then I'll be pleased. And that would be a good buy at 135. But on the first run down here, man, whoo, this is probably not the one I would pick for most people, unless you really like that firm, stiff ride. And I know that's what I've said at the beginning. Bigger runners like the firmness, the support. The stability of this was awesome, though. But I got to shower, get some lunch, and then we'll pop back later for the second run. But shower and recovery time. See you guys in a bit. All right, guys, so good news. It does come in wide. We have the D medium and the 2E wide. And also, I wanted to show you, there are colorways that don't look so egregious. So the black here, there's availability in size 8.5 all the way up to size 14, which is nice. And I know we've had some runners with big feet recently ask me about some of these shoes. So size 14, and it comes in the black, and they have a bunch of different colors here. The weird Ronald McDonald we got, looks like we only have 12 and 14 in this guy. I think some of the other colorways, yeah, the Chicago colorway is size 7 only. NYC is size 7.5 only. Let's see, all red. I think they had a few colors here. Yeah, some of the smaller sizes. So I think your best bet is going to be in the plain black. But for $135, can't really complain about the colorway. But we gotta do some more testing. A little double run day on the shoe. And then I can tell you whether or not to even consider this shoe. Because there are lots of great, look at this. There are lots of great shoes over there that do what the Kinvara Pro can do. So we will get into that after we get these miles in later. Honestly, guys, so the Kinvara Pro has just been sitting here next to me as I'm working, and this Ronald McDonald ketchup and mustard colorway. By the way, ketchup and mustard. That sounds like a young nudie song title, but this colorway has been growing on me, and I got the blue on blue outfit. I got the blue shorts on with the denim shirt. This would actually be kind of a fire shoe to wear around with the hobby jogger hat. But anyway, that is not the purpose of this. The purpose was I wanted to show you what Saucony says about the plate, because I did not quite understand it. So this is Supwell. This is the website, by the way. Check out Supwell. But just listen to what they say about the plate. Teardrop shaped is what they're calling it.
And is it carbon fiber? Yeah, so on the bottom you can see a nice little window that shows our teardrop shaped carbon fiber plate. So this sits just above the Power Run level and just below the Power Run PB. And it's in this specific shape that's teardrop that creates the roll in the forefoot and the shape that's needed, that S curve that we're known for in the Endorphin Pro and Speed. And that teardrop shape is able to actually align with your planner and create a 3/4 length that allows for a little bit more of a softer impact at heel.
All right, so it sounds like the plate is in the midfoot to the forefoot, not, as I said, in the heel to the midfoot. There is another shoe, I'm forgetting which one, that has the partial carbon fiber plate without it being in the forefoot. So I mentioned that it felt like there's a little bit of a softer toe off. That might just be because we're getting this aggressive roll here and landing. It puts you up on your toes, which I think the main benefit of, ooh, look, you saw that? The main benefit of all this foam on the top layer here, Power Run PB, really comes through with this nice toe off on the front. I was enjoying the toe off. That was basically the saving grace of this weird shoe. But let's see if we can find, hey, pull up with the MacBook keyboard. Let's see if we can find another little bit of saving grace for this shoe. I'm going to change into my running clothes, and then we're going to hit 8 miles around the neighborhood. Hopefully this will be a little bit of a softer experience, and I won't have to feel like I need to mash it to get any juice out of the shoe. But let's go get the running clothes on, and then we can hit some miles. All right, guys, running clothes are on. Kaboom, kabang, kabing. Little magic right there. Time to hit the second run. Oh, I should probably clean up that box, huh? Sorry, Charlie. All right, guys, so plan for this run is 8 nice miles around the hood here. Not pushing it too hard. I wasn't even planning on doing any sort of faster pace pickup this morning, but the shoes essentially forced me into it because they just did not feel good at all at my slower pace. And I'm thinking that's why some bigger runners have told me they like the shoe, because they do activate when you put some more force down into them. The question is just how much force do you need to put into them for them to activate, and whether it's through speed or size, can you get the benefit? And I'm a little bit surprised that they've tuned it to be so firm, and they do have the sock liner up here, the Power Run Plus, but I'm not really feeling any of that softness on stepping. It's just a really firm and rigid shoe altogether, which sometimes I like, sometimes I could bend it. I appreciate that, like in the Shift 3, but this feels even firmer, even more rigid. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of a softer ride this afternoon, having put some miles on it this morning. I do know that the Power Run foam sometimes can soften up. I don't think it's softened up all that much in the Shift 3. Some foams are just firm, and this seems like this might be a shoe that's firm, but we'll see how it goes. 8 miles. Oh man, I just got another mosquito. We just gotta get out here and go, because these guys are getting to me. But 8 mile run, let's do it. All right, second run of the day in Kinvara Pro. And I don't know when they're coming out with a Kinvara Pro 2, if they are. Oh man, already 30 seconds in, and I'm thinking we're gonna have a little bit better luck with these. Feeling a touch better on the second run, but we'll see. I will check back in around mile 1. See you guys in a bit. We just hit mile 1. This is gonna be a long 8 miles. Man, it is firm, it is rigid, it is stiff. I don't know what that guy was talking about a softer heel impact. There's nothing soft about this shoe. And at this 8-minute pace, mile 1 was 8:11. It is not
not optimal. And I really thought this would be the relaxed cruising option because it's designed for 4-hour marathoners, 3:30 marathoners. But for me, it just feels so stiff at these paces, not comfortable at all. So, oh, also other thing, I'm getting a lot of that rubbing on the left side of my left foot, that narrowness. So instead of just complaining for 8 miles, I'll check back with you at, I don't know, mile 5 or something. See if anything has changed. See you then. I'm gonna wait till mile 5. I'm at mile 2. This is about the point in the run this morning where I started just throwing down 6:20 pace because the shoes felt so horrible. And hold on, we're climbing a hill here, but after we finish this hill, I'm gonna throw down pace for a second just so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, we climb the hill, and at my normal running speed, stiff, very stiff. And as soon as I watch this, open it up here, the shoes really come alive. I get so much pop at around, let me check my watch, 6:50 pace and below. For me, this is where I'm getting the pop. Anything slower, now I'm gliding back down to a, let's see, my watch has a bit of lag, but probably a 7:45, 8:15 pace, and the shoe feels absolutely horrible for me. So again, one of these split character shoes where faster, heavier, more power is going to be better with the shoe, slower or lighter, less power, not going to feel great. Unless you just love a super firm, harsh ride. Then if you're a light runner, it's going to be awesome. But all right, I'll check in with you guys in a bit. Let's enjoy the beautiful scenery. We're just gonna smile and wave, smile and wave. Shoe is not really doing much for me on this run, and it is very hot. And that's the thing, some of these EVA foams soften up in the heat. Nope, nah. Shout out Chief Keef. But man, not doing a whole lot for me. It does have a nice roll to it and a decently smooth ride, but main thing is firm, very firm. All right, I'll check in with you guys when we're back at home. See you in a bit. All right, last mile and I'm cooking again. And the shoes feel great. Firm, but great. You just gotta throw some pace in these guys. Man, not a slow shoe, but I'm at cooking at 650 again, and it feels good. All right, Almost home. All right, we just finished 8 miles. I'm gonna walk it out. I'm not trying to be a hero today. That is 20 miles on the day in the firm, rigid, stiff, confusing Saucony Kinvara Pro. Ronald McDonald edition. Now, this is not a bad shoe. And I've said this before, there are so few bad running shoes on the market in 2024. Now, however, when I think about reviewing these shoes, when I think about how I want to frame up my analysis, what insights I'm going to bring to you about my experience running in these shoes, I think about what makes them appealing. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are those few areas that really shine? And what are the core capabilities that this shoe has that no other shoe on the market has? And now when we're thinking about the Saucony Kinvara Pro, those few things are far and in between. I think far and between. I think far and between is the way you say it. This is why I don't use complicated turns of phrase. I'm like Harry Truman out here, you know, plain speaking. Shout out to Harry Truman. I'm reading the Plain Speaking oral. It's not really a memoir, but he's sharing experiences from his life to Merle Miller. It's a great book. I would highly recommend it. But there's so few things about it that make the shoe awesome that other shoes don't have. That's what I'm trying to say, right? It is firm. And if you're looking for a high stacked, fast marathon training shoe, most people out there likely won't be looking for a firm ride. But for those people out there that are looking for a firm ride, that small minority, the silent minority, now I'm going too deep off the deep end, shout out Nixon. But for the people that are looking for a firm ride, for marathon training, for higher mileage, maybe bigger runners who found other max cushion shoes are too soft, you will not find the shoe too soft. This is not going to be too soft. And it is a really, I won't say really fun, but it is an exciting ride once you throw some pace. And so this is something I was thinking about on my run earlier today. Would it be possible? Oh man, I need some water. I think I was just seeing a mirage over there. This is something I was thinking about on my run earlier today. Would it be possible to do a little calculation of I'm 6'2", 160 pounds, running with a 170 cadence at a 650 pace? That might translate to somebody who's 220 running at an 830 pace with the 165 cadence or whatever it might be. That was just rough and not exact calculations, but what I'm trying to say is the amount of force I'm putting down into the shoe at 160 pounds, it feels good once I get down to that 650 pace, but anything slower, for me, this would not be my preference. So again, thinking about those core capabilities of the shoe, thinking about the few things that make the shoe shine, if you want that firmer ride, that more supportive ride, this package is going to be good if you can put the requisite force down. And if not, there are much better shoes on the market. So for any of the runs where I'm not going to be running 650 or below, I likely wouldn't be pulling for the Saucony Kinvara Pro. And then likewise, if I am going 650 or below, I'm not sure why I would want this shoe over an Endorphin Speed 3, over a Boston 12. And I know I said I wasn't going to compare it to the Boston 12, but it only makes sense to, because it seems like they're good at essentially the same thing. And even at slower paces, the Boston 12 is a lot more comfortable than this. And maybe the shoe does need to break in like the Boston 12, but for me, I'm just wondering what, with the Boston 12 at $110, I would go for that sale over this. With the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4 priced at $225, that's not even on sale, I would go for that shoe over this if you're looking for that marathon training, long run shoe. There's just so few things about this shoe that shine versus everything else on the market. And so unless you're looking for that super firm ride, that super stable ride, after 20 miles today, I am likely not going to be recommending the Saucony Kinvara Pro. However, if you are looking for that firm and stable ride and don't mind having a little bit of extra force required to get the benefit out of a shoe, then this will be the shoe for you. So that's all I have to say on the Saucony Kinvara Pro. I will pull out 3 alternatives really quickly because, as I said, this isn't going to be the shoe for most people. The use case is a little bit narrow.
All right, let's close out this run real quick, then I'll pop inside and grab those shoes. So let's see. Bang, 8.01 miles, 7:48 pace. Let's go grab those alternatives. I will be right back. All right, guys, so we got our 3 alternatives. Let me lace these down really quickly. And as I mentioned, if you want that firm, stable ride that activates when you put a lot of force down into the shoe, you might get along well with the Saucony Kinvara Pro. I think if you liked the Shift 3, if you liked the Audi Zero SL, you might like the shoe. But for me, I liked those shoes, but this is just not doing it for me. And I'm wondering if my preferences have changed, but I don't know. I have liked some firmer shoes this year, but just nothing out of the Saucony camp has really hit with me. So I'm going to give this another chance. I'm not completely ruling it out. I'm probably going to do a long run in it, and I'll throw some other workouts on it. But after the first run here, or first day of run, 20-mile double day, I'm not too impressed. So let's get to those alternatives. So if you were looking at the Kinvara Pro for the speed capability, the one I'd go for is the Adidas Boston 12. It also has a little bit of a firmer ride out of the box. It also is decently stable, but the foam is just a lot more fun in here, and it's a similar setup where you have the exciting racing foam on the top, the more stable foam on the bottom, but the Boston 12, the midsole here, just accomplishes things a little bit better. It's 10% smoother, 20% more exciting, 15% more comfortable. It's just all around a better package than the Kinvara Pro, and you get the sticky rubber on the bottom, and it's $112 on sale right now. Shout out to my friend who emailed that to me. By the way, guys, if you see any deals online, send them to yuana@supwall.io. So, and lots of things that I enjoy more about the Boston 12. I'm breaking my word because I said I wasn't going to compare it to the shoe, but it's too obvious not to. Firm, little bit of a bounce. This one just feels all around better to me than the Kinvara Pro, and it's also a lighter weight. This is about, I think it's about 260, 270, and the Kinvara Pro is 310. So all around, just on paper and out there on the ride, I prefer it a little bit more. The only downside is some people have had some issues with the upper. I have not had any issues with this upper. I wear the padded feature socks. My friend Katrina said she found an Amazon dupe of the feature socks, so I'll put that in the description. If she sent it over to me, I asked her for it. I do like supporting Features because they're an American brand. They're based in North Carolina. They make their products in the U.S., which is rare. I'm sure the Amazon ones are made in China, but I also like saving you guys money, so I'll leave the decision up to you. But the padded socks, that usually resolves any of the upper issues for me. So this is the first alternative for some faster efforts and also long runs for those who want a firmer but fun ride. Second one here would be the New Balance SC Trainer V2. So if you are looking at the Saucony Kinvara Pro because you wanted something with the pep to it, with that roll, with the bounce, but what you're also expecting out of your plated training shoe and your marathon training shoe is a comfortable ride, I would go for the SC Trainer V2. This is all around a more comfortable shoe. It's a lot softer. Again, not everybody likes soft. So if you don't like soft, you will love the Kinvara Pro. But if you want that soft underfoot comfort, I would go for the SC Trainer V2 here. I do have to say, if we're talking about marathon pace versus everyday runs, and for me, my marathon pace is about a minute faster at least than my everyday runs. If you're a newer runner, they might be closer together. But if we're talking about just race pace in general, faster running in general, I think I prefer the Kinvara Pro for that faster running. It gets me up on my toes a little bit more. The forefoot has a little bit more of that pop, but it's just not a comfortable package. For me, most days, 9 out of 7, recalibrating, 9 out of 10 days of the week. That's a Yogi Berra quote for you right there. It's not, but I could come with fake Yogi Berra quotes all day. They call me Foggy Berra. That was horrible. But 9 out of 10 days out of the week, I would take the SC Trainer V2. The other day out of the week, I would take the Boston 12. So I don't know where that leaves the Saucony Kinvara Pro. Usually after these first runs, I'll say, well, I'll do a double day and we'll see what changed. But we did a double day today. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do a long run in the Kinvara Pro with some marathon pace, and it will be awesome. Because that was one of the downsides of the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 and 4. It felt a little bit too soft on those long runs. I'm going to tell you right now, Kinvara Pro is not going to have that issue. So last alternative is, you guys probably guessed it, Asics Nova Blast 4. This is the best shoe of 2024 in my, I don't know, whatever adjective you want to use, opinion, in my terrible opinion, in my esteemed opinion, in my trash opinion, in my unqualified opinion, in my hobby jogger opinion. This is the best shoe of 2024 because you're getting a ton of value for the price. More foam than any shoe at $140. At a lighter weight than any shoe with this amount of foam, with a ton of padding and a decently fun ride. You don't get all those things for $140. And again, I would take this shoe over the Kinvara Pro for most any type of run. Now, where the Kinvara Pro does shine, and I do want to give it some credit here, is for those faster runs. And it's just, even out of any of these shoes here, I would take the Kinvara Pro for faster running other than the Boston 12. Boston 12 is one of my favorite shoes, though, of all time. This is probably in my top 5. But that's the thing about the Kinvara Pro. It's not going to be comfortable unless you really need that firmer foam. And the reason I'm harping on this is because most of the market right now is preferring softer rides. Some of the market is not. So if you're part of some of the market that loved the Shift 3, Audi Zero SL, old Saucony rides, you might like the Velocity Nitro 2. You might like this. My friend Lance, if you're watching this, I'm sure you would like the shoe for faster running. And Lance, he's out there putting in the work in West Virginia. You don't even know. This guy is eating. Bro is eating the hill repeats. He is eating. He was eating on the treadmill in the summer. He's also got swag. He got the Tracksmith shorts and everything. But my bro Lance is eating. He likes a firmer ride. He's rocking with the Velocity Nitro 3. I know he was thinking about getting the Saucony ride, but I would probably take this over the Saucony ride, and especially at that $135 price point. So if you have been considering adding a firmer marathon training shoe for $135, this would be a good buy if you want a firmer marathon training shoe. For everyone else out there, I would go for a Nova Blast 4. It's a little bit softer. I would go for SC Trainer V2. More comfortable, or Boston 12 for $110. Can't beat that for marathon speed training. But firm, stable, with the roll, that's going to be the Saucony Kinvara Pro for you here. So that is all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, baby. Go get those miles in.